guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to talk about menstrual cups, also known as Diva cups. And if you are a guy, I suggest maybe you click out this video. May not be for you unless you are interested in what women use while they're on your period. Actually, you know what? I encourage you men to educate yourselves on what us women have to go through. Fendi, can you please get off my notes? Please. Fendi, thank you. Okay, so first and foremost, let me explain what a menstrual cup is. Basically, it is a funnel. Should I show you guys which one I have? I'll show you. Okay, so I use the Diva cup. The brand is Diva cup, and you get a little baggie when you purchase it. And this is clean, don't worry. I'll talk about the cleaning process also later in the video. So it looks like this. It's a funnel, and basically you stick it up your vagine like you would a tampon. And I know it's quite intimidating. It's very large, or it may seem very large, but trust me, there's a lot of space down there where this can fit, I promise you. So there are three types. Diva cup has three different sizes: 0, 1, and 2. 0 is for anyone who just got their period or is below 18 years old. And fairly new to the whole period situation. Number 1 is anyone who has not been pregnant and obviously over age 18, pretty experienced with having a period, regularly uses tampons, things like that. And number 2 is for anyone who has already given birth. So I assume 0 is a much smaller size and 2 is much larger. Honestly, I have no idea. I've never purchased them before, but based on the description, that's what I would assume the difference between the three are. So it's made of silicone, I think. Silicone. I'll put more, detailed technical information probably in the blog post, or I even put Diva Cup's direct website. I'm sure they have a lot of frequently asked questions there. So the other brand I've tried is called the Lily cup, and it's a collapsible style, and it's a lot smaller. So you see how you can basically collapse the funnel into a little disc, and it comes in this container as well. Yes, it's convenient that you can collapse. Oh my god, my lip itches. Yes, it's convenient that you can collapse it into a smaller shape, but it is also very flimsy, and it was very hard for me to insert every time I tried to use it. It was a whole process. It was very frustrating. And I was like, nope, I'm done with this, never using it again. Went back to the Diva cup that I first had used because it's a lot more firm and easier to insert. Every time it takes me like 2 seconds, if that, to insert it. Every time I remove it to clean it out. It's just the frustration that I had with the other one was not worth it. I just ditched the other one and got my original Diva cup again. Today I'm going to speak more about the Diva cup because obviously that's the one that I use the most. The other one I'm never going to use again. I would not recommend to a friend, so I would not recommend it to you. But if you want to give it a shot and you want something more compact, then go for it. Now let's get into how does it exactly work. Well, you may be thinking, wow, that is really small. How does your blood stay in there? Well, actually, the Diva cup provides more than enough space of our daily blood. We don't produce it. It's just we release less than an ounce of blood a day. I know, mind blown. I didn't think that either. I was like, what? I feel like there's so much more. Now that I see how much blood, seriously, you guys. Now that I see how much blood actually comes out every day, I'm kind of like, why do I have to change my tampon so often? It made me kind of second guess tampons like a lot, because I used to change tampons every 4 to 6 hours. Like first thing in the morning, I start with a fresh, clean Diva cup, and then I empty it out when I come back home from work. And then I put it in again for when I go to bed, fresh and clean Diva cup before I go to bed. And I wake up and clean it out and empty it again. So I don't really know why I had to go through so many tampons in the past. And I've learned that tampons don't absorb anything at all. I've learned that a lot of the blood that does come out is not an absorbent type of liquid, okay? This is getting a little TMI, I understand, but I'm just trying to be real with y'all. If you use a Diva cup and you see the kind of blood that does come out on your period, there's no way in hell a tampon will absorb that shiz, all right? That's all I gotta say. I'm gonna end it there, okay? But yeah, the Diva Cup provides more than enough. The Diva Cup provides more than enough surface area for your blood for the day, and trust me, you don't need to worry about it. I know it may seem like, is that it? Are you sure it won't overflow? It won't. It never has for me. It never has for any of my friends that has used it before. Just don't forget that it's in there. And I'm sure you guys are also wondering if it's painful. At first use, I wouldn't say painful, but very uncomfortable. It is something you definitely have to adjust to, just like when you first use a tampon, your body had to adjust to an outside like object going into your body. And that goes the same for this Diva Cup. It is a lot larger and there's a lot more pressure in that area at first, but eventually you'll adjust to it and it's gonna feel like absolutely nothing. After my first time inserting it, I was a bit uncomfortable for an hour or so because the Diva Cup is shaped specifically to the way our bodies are made, and eventually it sits to the point where it's perfectly inserted and you won't really feel it anymore. You won't feel any pressures around that area, and you eventually will again adjust to having that object inside of your body throughout the months of using it. My experience, it was not painful at all, just uncomfortable. It's a little bit hard to kind of learn how to hold the Diva Cup, which way of holding it really works for you. I followed their directions on folding it in half and then inserting it that way. That totally works for me, but again, the process is different for everyone, but I suggest using the directions that the menstrual cup you purchase provides because they've done their research, obviously. And how do I clean it? Well, I boil it. I have it sit in boiling hot water for about like 10 to 15 minutes. I bring water to a boil and throw it in there, and then have it sit in the boiling water for like the water physically boiling for about 3 to 5 minutes. And I do it twice just because, you know, I'm paranoid, but you don't have to. I also have a specific pot for my Diva Cup because the idea of that being near where I cook just doesn't seem right to me. And I do this after every period. So basically once a month, I clean the Diva Cup in boiling hot water. Another question I also had before jumping into using a Diva Cup is how often would I have to change it? And honestly, once a year. Typically, if you start seeing like discoloration or some change in the texture, or you see like sometimes silicone, when it's getting old, it tends to powder, that's when you should probably get a new one. Even in the directions of the Diva Cup, on the box, they suggest changing it once a year, and it's only $40, so a box of tampons is like, what, $20 per period? That's like a no-brainer to me. That's pretty much all I have to say about the Diva Cup. All I have are positive things to say about the Diva Cup. There's really nothing that made me like, should I use this? And there's really no, besides the fact that maybe someone just is very uncomfortable with having something that size in their body, there's really no downside of using a Diva Cup. I mean, I believe it's much cleaner, much cleaner. There's no leakage at all whatsoever. I have never leaked using a Diva Cup. It's environmentally friendly, all right. It is much safer in my opinion because it's simply just silicone. There's no shady ingredients, unlike them tampons, okay? And it's very good for your wallet. I mean, it's $40 a year, maybe $80 if you have to get one every 6 months, depending on your cycle. Each body is different. If your period stains your Diva Cup more often than others, that's totally fine. No biggie. Wait, did I say $40? I think they're cheaper on Amazon now. 1 second. $27.49. So it's $10 cheaper than the other one that I used. There's just no downside to a Diva Cup in my opinion. And if you're open to trying it, please do. I highly recommend it. But yeah, that's pretty much my experience with the Diva Cup. Totally positive all the way through. And I'm never, ever going back to tampons or pads ever again. I'll probably put a more in-depth facts and information about the Diva Cup in my blog post down below. And I'll also put down direct links to the 2 brands that I've used and some other brands that you may be open to trying as well, but I highly recommend the Diva Cup brand. It's my ultimate favorite. I hope you guys found this video very helpful, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye! Fendi girl, come here. Look at, oh, sassiness. Say hi to the camera. Why are you being so, okay. Oh, now she doesn't want to be near me. Well then.